Hello Dgens, it is Burnice time. Here is a little bit more propaganda with today's drop to kind of tide you over. Yes, you should pull for her. But in all seriousness, as with all new character launches, it's that time of the patch where we start talking about where Burnice fits in the game, and therefore, should you actually pull for her? And before we get into it, full disclaimer, I am 100% pulling for Burnice because she's cute and she's fun. If you enjoy her character like I do, here is a form that you can fill out to be inducted into the Church of Burnice. All this to say, pull for waifu. Alright, all of that out of the way, let's start talking about it from an account progression, team building, meta point of view. And the first thing that I want to talk about is her position as an off-field or sub DPS, right? Because most people, when they think about Burnice, they think like, oh, she's going to support Jane, or she'll support Piper, Grace, and maybe even the upcoming Yanagi. And I think the answer to this is like yes, but no, but yes, like kind of maybe, which is to say like it's actually a little bit complicated. And so let's start off with the most popular position, which is Jane, Burnice, and a support. For example, it could be Lucy or Caesar, whoever. And so in this team, Burnice is going to swap in, scorch the enemy for a few seconds, and then swap back out to Jane, who will proceed to attack, and we're going to proc that off-field burn damage. That's fantastic, that's great, but let me give you another perspective. Because in that case, why don't you just run Jane, Seth, and support, whether it's Caesar or Lucy or whoever it may be? Because Jane has been shown to be an extremely solid character on her own. She can absolutely lone wolf content. There are so many like Jane solo videos out on YouTube. And so the question then becomes, does adding Burnice into that team really increase your team's DPS more than if we just put Seth in to juice Jane up? So Jane plus Seth or Jane plus Burnice? And my take on that is actually no, absolutely not. And very soon you will probably see calculations from like some of those hardcore math bros that is actually going to support this. And so the conclusion that I came to, and I absolutely play tested it a crap load, if you have a built Seth and you only want to use Burnice for Jane, that's it, then her value for your account is actually really low. Like, don't pull for her if that is your plan. Where you will get the most value out of Burnice is if you don't have Soldier 11 or you only have one S rank DPS. And the reason is because Burnice can absolutely play as a main carry for now, a main DPS. And the way that this is possible is thanks to this hold attack. It's like the massive Beyblade thing. And so the way that Burnice's off-field damage works is that another character comes in and attacks this enemy when they're scorched, and then they'll take off-field damage, and every time this off-field damage is done, that golden bar resource on the top left-hand corner is going to decrease, right? Now, what MiHoYoverse have done is that they've given us a way to use up that gold bar resource with Burnice so that she is actually completely self-sufficient via this hold attack, right? This hold attack is how you use it up. It does a nice amount of damage and daze, and it also has some combos in which you can go straight into either the double flamethrowers or the double flamethrower explosion. That said though, going down this route is going to be a little bit different from say running Jane as a main DPS, right? Because with Jane, we want to stay in Jane for as long as possible to push out as many assaults as possible, because the assault damage is instantaneous. It's like da 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 boom, da 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 boom. But Jane and assaults are actually the exception, right? Because what you will find with Burnice is that she accumulates and inflicts burn so fast, and burn doesn't stack. And so Burnice's ability to apply burn off field and proc disorder means that she can have a place in every single anomaly team, right? She can absolutely be paired with any other anomaly in the game. That in itself is already massive from a horizontal investment point of view, right? You run Piper, you can run Burnice. You run Grace, you can run Burnice as well. It's kind of similar to like your Caesar, where you can literally throw her anywhere, except Burnice, you can throw her onto like any anomaly team. That being said though, there is one thing in her kit that really convinces me that she was made for Disorder itself. And it's actually in the additional ability, in particular, the fire anomaly buildup increasing by 65%, but more importantly, the duration of the burn effect being extended by 3 seconds. If they really wanted Burnice to be a main DPS, kind of like Jane Doe, then MiHoYoverse would have either made her burns stronger, maybe they get like extra fire damage, or maybe they even crit, similar to Jane's, right? But with this over here, where it's only the burn duration that is extending, there is only one way to take advantage of this, right? Well, you can either wait for the enemy to kind of burn out, or you trigger Disorder, which means that you get an additional 3 ticks of damage. And just as a reminder for Disorder is essentially saying, okay, how many ticks do I have left of the entire duration? I'm just gonna bring it forward and explode it all right now. And so not only because of this, right, but how exactly she plays, it's very clear that she just doesn't have the perfect teammates right now, right? It's kind of like how Jane perfectly pairs with Seth. It's like how Qingyi was almost made for Zhu Yuan. I think that for Burnice, it's gonna be either Yanagi or somebody else in the future. Therefore, I think that Burnice is going to actually be more of an investment for the future rather than something that you can probably reap right now. Alright, and so the last thing that I did want to mention is that I've spent like freaking, I don't know, maybe 10 hours playing Burnice, and what I will have to say is that she is incredibly fun to play. MiHoYoverse have managed to make flamethrowers really fun by giving her like fast moves while still making it feel like flamethrowers. Although it's probably more accurate to describe her playstyle as flamethrower jetpacks. So even if you don't like her character, which is absolutely impossible because she's so cute, or maybe you're not into the anomaly playstyle, I would say if you're not into like kind of the clangs with like the swords or the sticks, and you might actually prefer a bit of like a ranged playstyle, I would recommend giving Burnice a go and seeing if you actually like playing her. Alright, so all of that was pretty dense. Let me summarize everything. Today, her value is really in that of a main DPS, especially if you're lacking in that department, right? Maybe you rolled for Caesar, maybe you rolled for Qingyi, whoever. And if you only ended up with like one limited S rank DPS, then I would encourage you try her and potentially pull for her. Again, I don't think that this is her main job. I don't think that Burnice was made to be a main DPS, but it is a job she can absolutely fulfill right now. Secondly, she can absolutely act as an off-field DPS for Jane, proccing those disorders and all of that. But the reality is that Jane probably doesn't need her, right? You don't need Burnice for Jane, especially if you have already built Seth. That said though, the Jane Burnice team is actually a lot of fun, and if you haven't built Seth, then I would recommend. But again, this is just not a necessity. Number 3. One day, I'm hoping very soon, probably in like the next month or two, her true value, her true role is going to be that of a disorder enabler, right? She can slot into any team that does damage over time. I'm talking like the corruption, I'm talking shock. I just think that Burnice's best partners, they are not out yet. It's similar to like Kafka from HSR, where Kafka got really good when Black Swan came out and a whole bunch of like the other damage over time characters. For Burnice, I do think that it's going to be Yanagi first because shock, damage over time, bring it forward with the disorder, and then you do the same thing with burn. You can bring both burn and shock up to make it really, really strong. And lastly, I just gotta mention, she is so much fun. So hopefully that helps you understand where Burnice could fit into your account and maybe help you determine whether you should actually pull for her or not. And so my DGens, let me know if you are going to be pulling for her down below in the comments, but also, is it going to be a pull for waifu reasons like me, or off-field DPS and meta, or for Yanagi or whatever? So let us know down below. But that being said, this is the end because I don't have anything left for you. So, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.